welcome back to KikiKolour. So today I am going to be doing my Meet the Artist plus Q&A video. And so I wrote down all of your questions and then I wrote down the answers on here. Otherwise, I'll probably have heaps of mind blanks while I am recording, like I usually do in pretty much all my videos. So I'm not having heaps of mind blanks in today's video, I wrote all of the questions and answers down. So here we go. Alright, so question 1. What made you start YouTube? So I was inspired by Applemint, who has been one of my favorite art YouTubers. And I just thought it would be really fun to share my art with different people, since I pretty much have always just shown my family, and thought, wow, this would be really cool to share my art with other people. Plus I've always wanted a YouTube channel. Question 2. When did you first start drawing? Well, I've pretty much always been drawing. I think I was like 1. Like pretty much as soon as I could hold a pencil, I was drawing. I started keeping my art probably in folders when I think I was like 7, I think. But I've had folders from even like 4 or 5 years old, but I think 7 was when I actually like cared about having my art in folders, so yeah. Question 3. Why did you start drawing? Well, being 1, I guess I didn't think much about why I started drawing, but I just really enjoy it, and I love being able to have the ability to draw like things I really like or am into, for example, fan art. I just find it really fun, you know, that's just, I don't know, I just find that really fun and think of it as like a talent. Well, I guess it is a talent, but yeah. Question 4. What's your favorite alcoholic marker brand? I would say Ohuhu. I've tried a multitude of brands, obviously Copics and Ohuhu, Winsor & Newton brush markers, etc. And Ohuhu are just the best out of them in my opinion. Like every time I buy a Copic marker, they just run out so much quicker and dry so much quicker than Ohuhus usually do. And Ohuhus have a really nice shell, which is the outside barrel thingy, which in my opinion are way nicer to work with than Copics. The brush nib is much nicer on Ohuhu than Winsor and brush markers are, mainly just because I think Winsor & Newton brush markers are too soft, like the nib, but there's nothing really wrong with their nib. It depends on how you personally like to colour. And plus Ohuhu is just so much cheaper than like Copic. And I love that you have the option. I also love that you have the option to buy a brush tip with a fine nib or a brush tip with a chisel tip. I'm just looking forward to when they bring out separate Ohuhu markers or like smaller colour packs like the pink set. I always like want them to do like a pink colour set, like, but brands never want to do pink for some reason. Anyway, question 5. What do you personally think is the best artwork? Well, my favourite artist of all time is Darko Dordevic. He has been like my favourite artist since I was like 8, I believe. And I just think his art is just like off the charts amazing. I just love his style and he's just so talented and successful. And so I can't really say an all-time favourite, but a couple of my favourite drawings is one he did of Draculaura from Monster High, which I think he called Monster Royalty. It's Draculaura in her collector doll attire, and also his fan artwork of Crystal Star from LOL OMG. I'm sure there's more, but those two come to mind as my favourites. Question 6. Have you ever tried digital art? Yes, I have. I actually used to do digital art all the time on this social media app called Colour Therapy. It was actually also called KikiKolour as well, so I think it might actually still be there since I deleted the app a couple years ago when I got bored, but I think that the actual account is probably still there. And so I used to also use IBIS PaintX a couple times, but I hardly practice much at all since I don't have an Apple Pencil or a tablet pen/pencil or of that any kind or that kind of stuff. So drawing, all the art I drew was with my fingers, so after a while it gets kind of tedious and kind of annoying. And so that's why I kind of stopped doing digital art. Kind of annoyed me. And so I am planning on getting back into it. I really want to get an Apple Pencil soon and practice and improve my digital art, though I probably won't upload that on my channel, at least while I'm practicing anyhow. Question 7. What are your 5 favorite marker colors to use? So my 5 favorite colors in markers to use are R81 Rose Pink in Copic, RV34 Dark Pink in Copic, R9 Pastel Rose in Ohuhu, RV02 Sugared Almond Pink in Copic, and R6 Rose Red in Ohuhu. And I just realized that all of those are actually pink. Well, pink is my favorite color, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Question 8. What artists inspire you/you look up to? Well, like I mentioned before, Darko Dordevic is definitely my favorite artist. He's not on YouTube, I don't think, but he's, on like other ones like Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. Berry Beret on Instagram is amazing too, but I don't think she's on YouTube, and Appleman inspired me for a very long time. Question 9. What country are you from? I'm from Australia. Question 10. Describe your art in 3 words and then describe yourself in 3 words. So I'd probably describe my art as cute, edgy, and colourful. I like cutesy, but I also like modern fashion, which is where the edgy comes in, and I also like, goth style, but I like a lot of colours, so that's where the colourful part comes in, so that's why it's cute, edgy, and colourful. And so describing myself in 3 words, I like to think I'm charismatic. I'd also like to think I'm funny, but I guess that's up to personal interpretation. And probably talkative. I'm very talkative as well. Question 11. Do you have pets? Yes, I have 1 pet cat. Question 12. What's your favorite animal? Well, cats. Always has been. Question 13. How old are you? I'm 15 years old. Question 14. What's your favorite color? My favorite color is pink, if you haven't guessed by now, but I think I already mentioned that in a previous question. Question 15. Besides markers, what's your favorite art supply to use? So besides markers, my favorite art supply would probably be my outlining brush pens. I just really love to use them, but I also love using my Prismacolor pencils. Question 16. How did you find your art style? Well, this question is one that heaps of people go on about. I'm always seeing YouTube videos of saying how to find your art style and find your art style in 5 stages or 5 tips to find your art style, whatever, and so I used to, back in the day, probably a couple of years ago, I used to try and find and create my art style, but it was kind of like forced and it wasn't my natural art style. I used to think, now to have an art style, everything needs to stay the same, like I have to keep the eyes, lips, nose, shading style, proportions, etc. exactly the same every time. I ended up feeling kind of boxed in and creatively stifled, since I felt like I couldn't do different things, because I thought it was going to, change my art style and not look like my art style or whatever. So I ended up just stopped trying to force an art style. I just left it and forgot about art styles, and it ended up just forming on its own, and that's the way art styles should. So I say an art style comes from like a bunch of different things, and it happens over time, so don't rush it. In 10, 5 or even 2 years, my art style would probably be crazy different from what it is now. I'd say my style is a combination of inspirations from lots of different places, such as anime, Monster and Ever After High, Bratz, Total Drama style, Winx Club, video game styles like Xenoblade Chronicles and Genshin Impact and Shantae, and things like that. If you couldn't tell, I have a lot of inspiration from dolls in particular, and since Monster High was my inspiration for a very long time. Question 17. What music do you listen to? Well, I mainly listen to video game instrumentals, official soundtracks and remixes, so you probably won't know the people who I'm talking about, since I don't listen to just like regular singers or whatever. But Pascal Michael Stiefel, Grant Kirkhope and Koji Kondo are some of my favourite artists, I guess. Yeah, they're artists. As well as Kumu and Noteblock, who are my favorite video game YouTube remixes. And so my favorite like albums, I guess you'd call it, to listen to are Super Mario ones like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3, Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and then Hat in Time. And if you don't know what that is, that's just a video game. Question 18. What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I want to be a lot of things, since I'd like to think I'm pretty overly ambitious. So I really want to be a doll designer, which is where you design dolls, obviously. A video game designer, illustrator, author, character designer, and scriptwriter are the main ones I'd like to be. Question 19. What program do you use to edit your videos with? I just use iMovie on the computer, so it's free and I just think it works really well, so I just keep on going with that. Question 20. How long does it take to edit a single video? Well, with my voiceovering, editing, choosing background music, importing photos, I'd say probably about half an hour to 45 minutes on average for one video. Question 21. Who inspired you to do art? Well, this is similar to another question, but I used to get inspired by this artist and YouTuber called Amana HB when I was way younger, because she used to draw Monster High characters. So she was one of the first artists who I looked up to and loved her art. And like I said in another question, then I found Darko Dordevic, Applemint, and a few others. Question 22. When you started your channel, was there a goal you wanted to achieve? Well, obviously I'd love to get monetized one day. However, my initial goal was just to be able to share my art with people. My sub goal always changes, but my initial goal was I think 50 or 100, which we have reached. Question 23. What was your favorite video to film? I'd say sketchbook tours, since I love, I just loved flipping through my folder with all the different art. It was really fun to look back, even though it wasn't actually that long ago that I drew all that art. It was just really fun to go back and look through a whole entire folder of art. Question 24. Who inspires you? Well, like previously mentioned for art, Darko Dordevic, Applemint, Berry Beret, but this didn't specify specifically for art, so there are a few, like for other things, there are a few other people who inspire me, like I think Jonas Karlov for his creation of A Hat in Time is so inspiring, and also Garrett Sander, who created Monster High. Those are some of the people who inspire me the most. There are some more, but off the top of my head, those are the main people. Question 25. What keeps you posting? The fact that people actually watch my channel, like I kind of thought that like no one would watch my channel, but when I read comments of how people really love, my art, it makes me really happy, and I love it when people learn and, from my videos and actually take what I say or ask me questions. I love it when I'll like say a tip in a video and someone actually like says they're gonna use it or actually takes on board that tip. I know, I get really excited about it, so yeah. Question 26. Are you planning on changing your art style? So I'm not really planning on changing my art style, but I assume it will naturally adapt over time. I am always trying to like do different styles and learn new things, so when I do that, I'm obviously going to improve, which means my art style is going to change a little, so it's just going to change, with what I learn and all that stuff. Question 27. Do you have siblings? Yes, I have a younger sister and an older brother. Question 28. Who are your favourite big art YouTubers? So my favourite big art YouTubers, I'd say, are probably Applemint and Jazza. I like watching both of their channels. Oh, and I just remembered Mayu. I like her channel a lot as well. Question 29. Favourite small art YouTubers. So my favourite small art YouTubers would probably be Easy Art, Creative Kitty, and Kita's Sketchbook, and Chobi are probably my favourites off the top of my head. There are a few more, but they're the ones I can think of. 30. Question 30. Milk before or after cereal? So this is kind of a random question, but I always put the milk in after. I'm not really sure who puts in the milk before, but you know, everyone each to their own, I guess. So anyway, 31, nickname. Kiki is actually my nickname, and I like to name everything with my nickname in it, so that's why it's KikiKolour. Question 32, dream destination. I'd love to go to America and possibly even move there, mainly for my career. I'd also like to visit Japan though, since I love all the anime and Lolita culture, and I just really want to visit Super Mario World. That would be so cool. Question 33. Favorite series / anime / animated shows. At the moment, I am loving Sonic Boom. It's such a good show. My favorite anime of all time is Glitter Force Doki Doki. I do also love My Witch Academia. I also really like Total Drama, Rabbids Invasion, and an all-time favorite show of mine is H2O Just Add Water. Question 34. Favorite day of the year in 2020? Well, that'll probably just be my birthday, I'd say. It kind of is every year. My favorite day. Question 35. Favorite school subject? So at my school, technology is all about design, so I definitely say technology, English, and art would be my favorite subjects. I kind of couldn't choose one. Question 36. Favorite drawing of mine? I couldn't choose just one fave, but I went through all of my artwork and latest art. But my 3 favorites would be the Neon Cyber Girl, trio of modern Super Mario princesses, and me as an RPG girl. Question 37. When did you start YouTube? I think my first video was 3 or 4 months ago, which was drawing Taurus as a girl, which it wasn't a magical girl, just like a normal girl. But then I didn't upload it for I think a month after, so I guess it still counts as my first video, but so about 3 or 4 months ago. Question 38. How are you so amazing? Why thank you very much. Well, I guess you could say because I practice, I'm always trying to improve, learning new techniques, trying different things, and expanding by practicing different styles. That's how I'm always improving, so that's my tips to, you know, always improve in your art. Question 39. How do you have so many Copics? Well, I started collecting Copics, 8 years ago? My mum's an interior designer, so she started collecting them first for when she draws like rooms and stuff. So she actually had a bunch of maybe 40 or so Copic markers already. I only started using markers in 2019, so then I just kept on collecting from there. I buy a multitude of markers from multiple brands since the colour selection and range is different in each brand. Because Copics are pretty expensive, there's an art website that I buy, I can't remember, I can't remember how much they are when they're on sale, but they are so cheap. Copics are so cheap on this website. I think it's Australian only, but it's so good, and so that's why when I buy my Copics, and obviously Ohuhus are like always really cheap. So, and then there's a few other brands which you probably don't know about that I also buy, like Graphic Pro Duo, and so, you know, they are pretty, pretty cheap. And so that's how I expand my collection, just like wait for the sales and, you know, buy it when like you have a bit of money and stuff. And so it's just, you know, I just expand and collect every year. I'm not sure exactly how many markers I have now, but I'm gonna say maybe around 200 or 300. Like I have so many now. It's a shame they're always running out, but yeah. Question 40. Favorite art supply? Well, take a wild guess. Alcohol markers. 41. Do you play musical instruments? Well, I used to play the piano, however I got bored. I was pretty good at it, well, I thought. But it wasn't really my thing compared to like art and stuff. I know after a while I just kind of lose interest, so that's why I don't play any musical instruments anymore. So, question 42. Dream art supply. Well, my dream art supply already exists, so it's markers, but I would have to say having the entire Copic collection one day would be like amazing. I don't know if that really counts, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Question 43. Do you have other hobbies? If so, what are they? Besides art, I also love writing. I'm also a pretty big gamer too. I love video games, and I mainly play on the Nintendo Switch since I just love Nintendo games. I don't really play like the PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. So I pretty much have always just loved Nintendo games, so that's pretty much my other hobbies. Question 44. Favorite book? My favorite book series is Timmy Failure, and my favorite book in that series is Timmy Failure, Sanitize for Your Protection. It's hilarious. I love comedy books, so yeah. Question 45. How did you come up with your YouTube name? Well, the first social media that I was properly on was Color Therapy, which is an app where you color in artworks. However, you can freehand draw too. Since it was about colouring, I thought it would be good to have something to do with colour in the name. I always like to have like Kiki in like every username that I come up with for like everything. So obviously Kiki was going to be in there. So then I thought Kiki and then colour since you're colouring. And then I thought, instead of doing KikiKolour, you know, C-O-L-O-U-R, I thought I'd do K-O-L-O-U-R, so it's Kuku, like 2 Ks, and I thought that was just so smart. And so, bam, there you go, have it, KikiKolour, and I just kept that when I went to YouTube since I just thought it went, since I'm still drawing and doing art. Question 46. What's your favourite part of the art process? I love the line art and colouring process of the artwork the best. I used to hate the line art like a lot of people do, but when I got my black brush pen, once I learned how to use it, I absolutely love outlining. I find it really fun and satisfying to do all those brush strokes. It's just so cool, and I also love the colouring process since I love seeing it come to life with the colours and the shading. I really like shading, it's really fun. Okay, question 42, which is yes or no questions. So, pineapple on pizza. So I actually don't really like pizza. I know a lot of people do, but pizza's never really been my thing. I don't really like the base or whatever. I don't know, I just think it's too thin or whatever. But if I do have pizza, I do have pineapple on it, so I guess yes. And the last question is rainy days. So yes, rain is actually my favorite weather, so I guess the answer is yes. So that is the end of my Q&A. Thank you so much for everyone who asked questions. I got so many questions, I was very surprised. A lot of them were actually double ups, so there are actually way more questions than I actually said, since I think I got over 70 questions in a day. But a lot of them were double ups, so it ended up being 40 something questions when you minus the double ups. Thank you all to everyone who asked questions, and I hope you enjoyed this Meet the Artist. So I'll just briefly go over my Meet the Artist. So obviously KikiKolour, 15 years old, INTP, which is my Myers-Briggs, and if you don't know what the letters stand for, if you're not familiar with Myers-Briggs, just means introverted, intuitive thinking and perceiving. If you want to understand what those mean, you'll have to look it up, since it's probably going to take me a long time to explain that. And then my Hogwarts house is Slytherin. And then likes, I like pink, obviously that's my favorite color, drawing obviously, writing, video games, Super Mario, fashion dolls, Monster High, Bratz, persuasive essays, anime, pastel goth fashion, space, cats, and video game music. A lot of this was answered in my Q&A, so that's why I'm just quickly going over it. Dislikes, loud noises, I hate loud noises, school, small talk, exams, public transport, chores, and crowds. And the last part of this, of the Meet the Artist, I just wrote personality, since I don't really put things in my bag, so I'm just going to do personality instead. So, talkative, funny, I like to think, charismatic, annoying, lol, everyone says I'm annoying, I don't mind, I think it's funny, and so, ambiverted, even though my Myers-Briggs says I'm introverted, I'd say I'm ambiverted since I have introverted and extroverted qualities, and the last one is ambitious. So thank you all so much for watching. It was really fun to do this Meet the Artist plus Q&A. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you to everyone who asked questions. Please like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and ta-ta!